Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Friday to you all. Hope you're having a good week. We are excited at the CCC today to introduce the first beer cocktail. This is a drink, it's called a Michelada. If you're from Texas or live in Texas, you probably already know what it is. If you're not from Texas, maybe not. There may be some Mexican restaurants across the country that serve it. I will tell you, this is the kind of drink, it's sort of like not a great description, but let's call it a beer version of a Bloody Mary. So I will tell you that if you like Bloody Marys, you're gonna love Michelada. If you like Bloody Marys and like beer, you're gonna love a Michelada. If you don't like Bloody Marys, you don't like beer, then you're probably not gonna be in love with this cocktail.
Confession time.
Yes.
I've had one Michelada in my life. It was at the original Ninfa's on Navigation. I cannot honestly tell you that I remember the experience, but I only like really good beer, and I despise Bloody Marys. So we'll see how I feel about this one.
I'm not too optimistic you're gonna love this one, but
full disclosure, this is my first time making this drink.
Right. So we've done a sake-based cocktail that was meh. We've done a New York sour with red wine, which was delicious. So I felt like it was time. It's getting the temperatures, getting a little bit hotter out there, a lot hotter out there, at least in Texas. So why not introduce something that would be great by the pool? This is the kind of drink that you're probably not going to order like with a steak at dinner. This is really, to me, all about it's sort of a lifestyle drink. It's when you're outside, you're sweaty, it's hot, you want something really refreshing.
A lifestyle drink?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle drink. Okay. You know what that? Here, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Don't roll your eyes.
A lifestyle drink.
A lifestyle drink. Yes, I'm sticking with that. There are some. Okay, so certain drinks, a gin and tonic, for example, you can get at a restaurant, you can get by the pool. It works either way. A margarita by the pool with Mexican food at dinner, what have you. I feel like this is a kind of drink, much like a Bloody Mary actually, would be a good example. When's the last time someone ordered a Bloody Mary at dinner with pasta or a steak or with anything, right? It's a brunch cocktail. It's a lifestyle cocktail driven off of the experience, like mimosas. You don't drink mimosas at night. You drink them at brunch. I would argue this drink will taste better if you drink it by the pool, out when you're washing the car. It's hot outside during the day. Probably not so much at night with a meal. Anyways.
How about if you don't have a pool? What if it's just really freaking hot and you're yelling at your kids to get off their goddamn iPads?
As long as you're outside and it's really freaking hot and you need something refreshing, I would say yes. The other thing I think both good and bad about this drink is that this is probably the epitome of our rules, no rules concept at the CCC. No matter how much research you do on this drink, as I did quite a bit, even though I've had them before, I've made them before, I really wanted to see kind of what the classic recipe is. And the reality is there is no true classic recipe. I would say there's a foundation of core ingredients, things like Tabasco, Cayenne, celery salt, Worcestershire, and lime, I would say are sort of your core ingredients. But you're going to find recipes that involve soy sauce, that involve sriracha or other hot sauces. Celery bitters, which we're both going to experiment with today. In fact, I never even have used my celery bitters, so I'm looking forward to using it today. And even portions are not that important. I think what's more important is balance. So much like a Bloody Mary, where you often will take a sip and realize, you know what, it needs a little more pep, a little more Tabasco. This is that kind of drink, which I think is both good and bad. Sometimes it's nice to just know 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, you're done. Other times it's nice to sort of trial and error and sort of sample and kind of doctor it up a bit.
So this is the epitome of cooking, not baking.
Okay, that's good. That works. I get that.
This is more of like a salad.
Are we excited to start this lifestyle beer cocktail?
I'm so excited to try this drink.
I can tell. First, we're going to do, and actually I'm not normally a fan of salted rim like margaritas or whatnot, but I do think this is the kind of drink you need that salt to balance everything else out. So grab a lime. Little trick. If you slice the lime about 90%, not all the way through, but close, kind of like a little Pac-Man character. And then just basically, the idea is you want to rub the top of the glass, the rim of the glass, so that it will adhere to the salt. Basic kosher salt's great. I actually did a mix of kosher salt, and actually I love the name, but the flavor is really good too. It's called Slap Your Mama. And this is an ode to my family in Louisiana. This is a Cajun spice. It's similar to Tony Chachere's. It's for those of you that are familiar with Tony Chachere's, but it works really well with Bloody Marys and Micheladas and whatnot.
I actually took out my tahini to use for this because it's so pretty and it's a good spicy seasoning. But then I opted to end up not using that and use this applewood smoked sea salt instead because my personal palate leans more to smoky than to spicy.
I think that's a good call. And reaching out to you guys today, if you're already like a Michelada fan or you think this kind of fits what you're going to like, this would be a fun experiment to do. You're bored, you're looking for ways to play in your bar, to do like a Michelada bar. So like you see Bloody Mary bars where you can add shrimp or bacon or celery and okra, peppers, et cetera, et cetera. This could be one where, again, you could put out probably 40 different things to doctor it with and just try different versions. One thing you may notice up here that neither one of us have is tomato juice. Unlike a Bloody Mary, which obviously a core ingredient is tomato juice, Micheladas, it's sort of 50-50, but certainly if you like tomato juice, like that aspect of a Bloody Mary, you can always add some. I can see Ricey loves tomato juice by that face.
Tomato juice makes me want to gag.
I actually like tomato juice. Like V8, used to love V8. Actually, you know what? V8 would not be bad in this if you think about it. If you like tomato juice already.
Well, V8's classic in a Bloody Mary, but there's also a reason I don't make Bloody Marys.
This is where it becomes sort of a loose rules. Let's first get some ice. Preferably larger ice, but whatever ice you have will do. One reason why you want to use larger ice, if possible, is this is a drink that does not do well as it dilutes. This is a drink that you want to kind of drink when it's nice and fresh. And then from there, guys, this is really where it's sort of trial and error and depends on how tart you like things, how spicy you like things. All right, so I'm going to start with cayenne pepper, multiple small shakes. You notice I'm not mentioning 1/4 ounce, an exact amount. This is, again, sort of a feel thing. So, and next, some celery salt, which we rarely use in our house. Do you ever use celery salt in your house?
No, and I don't even own any.
2 shakes of Worcestershire, and then a couple dashes of Tabasco. Actually, I'm gonna go with 4.
Okay, this is cute. I have my tiny sriracha packet.
And then I'm gonna do a couple dashes of Celery Bitters.
That I have.
I'm also gonna add just some fresh ground pepper, just because I love fresh pepper.
I've got this Bloody Mary seasoning that's pre-mixed. Should I use him?
Let's throw it in there.
I know this is going to come as a big surprise, but it's never been.
3/4 lime juice. Honestly, with lime, you go from a half to 1 ounce. You just play it by ear. It depends on how tart you want it. And then from there, we just top with beer. Now, we had some fun with the planning for this. We were thinking, should we do Corona just given the name? Would that just be more appropriate? And after thinking long and hard about it, I really don't like Corona beer in general. So, no, I'm using Dos Equis green. I think Modelo Especial is a good one for this. It depends if you want a lighter, like a lager like this, or if you want like a darker beer. So that's just personal preference. I would certainly say a Mexican beer is important, but just no Bud Light.
This one's for my father-in-law. He's the most interesting man in the world.
And just give it a light stir, just to kind of mix the spices, the Worcestershire and the Tabasco. Now, again, if you've seen these in restaurants or bars before, or even just online, you'll notice sometimes they are redder. Those are the ones that have tomato juice in them. I've also seen some that are much lighter than this. So again, personal preference. I'm going back and taking that same lime. I'm actually going to salt both sides of it.
Oh, that's fun.
Just to give it some color and some texture. And then just put that on top. And there you have effectively a Bloody Mary beer cocktail called a Michelada. People are asking the difference in a chelada and a Michelada. It's the same thing. Anyways, if you break down like the origin of the name Michelada, it actually breaks down to ice cold beer. Not directly, but indirectly. It tastes just like I remember Michelada tasting like, which is a spicy, salty Mexican beer. So I think it's delicious. But again, this goes back to the whole lifestyle thing that you made fun of earlier, because if I'm by a pool or washing my car or outside walking the dogs and it's 100 gazillion degrees out, this would be amazing.
You know what I think the difference is? I don't have a pool.
You don't walk your dog? Anyways, hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, go back and doctor it. In fact, I'm going to add some sriracha to mine. I think this is the kind of drink you do have to play with it and see what the right balance is.
Okay, so I'm putting the shopping list up for next week. Next week, we'll have 3 new cocktails for you. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys. Enjoy your micheladas. Better than Ricey did.
Go wash your car.
Jump in your pool. Cheers, Rice.
Cheers, Jason.